In this video, I'm going to show you how I made this Cyberpunk animation right here. This is the kind of environment I've been wanting to do for a long time, but I've never really attempted until now. And there's a lot of things that I learned, and it turns out there's a lot of cool stuff that's pretty easy to do in this one. So we'll start with animating the fish, and then how I set up the hologram texture to fit on those, and then how I built the rest of the environment and my thought process of making that all fit together in the final render here. So let's just get started with creating the fish, then the hologram shader, and then the rest of the environment. And near the end, I'll show you my render settings, as well as some tips to reduce the flickering that you get in animations from cycles. So yeah, hopefully you enjoy the video. Okay, so I'm just starting this one off with a cube and morphing that into a little brick shape as a placeholder object to start. I added this hair particle system here just as a quick little test. I didn't end up using that though. You can see here I'm adding a lattice object in here, and then just adding some subdivisions on it with the lattice settings. And then you could just morph that into whatever shape you want, and then the object that's bound to it will just deform to whatever shape the lattice has. And you can see when I move it left to right, it'll just kind of follow the deformation or shape of the lattice structure you've made. So I got rid of that, dropped in a model of a fish. This is just from a pack I bought a while ago of some random tropical fish. And you can see when I add the lattice modifier and just bind it to that lattice I already made, and then move it from left to right, you can see just with a couple keyframes, just one at the start, one at the end, it'll just deform really nicely to that path. And this actually worked surprisingly well for what it is, just two keyframes moving left to right. And you could probably stop there, but I decided to add a little bit more animation. You can see I'm just duplicating the fish and then offsetting the animation location keyframes in the graph editor to move it along. So the way I did this was using shape keys. You could probably just use a simple deform or something else like that, but shape keys, you add one, morph it into whatever shape you want, add a second shape key, and then morph that into a different shape, and then you get a slider that you can use to morph between shape 1 and shape 2 basically. So that's really helpful for making the fish kind of like bend in this swimming motion. And then I just looped the animation. You can just hit Shift E and then cyclic extrapolation, I think it's called, and that'll loop whatever keyframes you have. So then I just duplicated that a bunch of times, offset the swimming animation just back and forth through each different fish, just so it was slightly different. For the shader, I'm just running, this object came with a base color already, so I'm just running that color into the emission color, and then I'm also driving that strength of the emission with a layer weight, using the Fresnel output of that. So I'm flipping the color ramp around so that it's light on the outside edges and then dark towards the middle. And then I'm just layering in another image or texture. So you can use a wave texture. In this case, I just used like an image of code. So you can kind of put any screen or computer looking texture in there. So that's running as well into the strength. And I'm just using a separate UV map with the UV map node with the second map running in there, just so I can scale this one independently from the fish texture. So I'm just animating the Z or Y location on that texture, just typing in a hashtag frame and then divided by 100. It's a quick little driver you can just type in to make something move like that. And then it'll just move automatically over the scene time. So then I'm just turning up the strength of that. I also ran that into the alpha so that the dark parts become transparent. And then in a dark setting, you can see that actually works pretty well. You just have to adjust the strength and mess with the settings a little bit. And you can see this is actually turning out pretty satisfying. This is a lot better than I thought it was going to be at this stage, so I was pretty happy at this point. Kind of satisfying looking at these animated fish here. And then yeah, you could just duplicate the fish as many times as you want, offset or just shrink the animation timing a little bit with its keyframes, and then it's enough to make it look like a different thing. So you can see I just did a quick test render to check it and see what it actually looked like in the render. And you can see I was actually surprised at how well this is working. So then I just added in a mix color node, switched to multiply, and then just dropped in like a full saturation red. And that was the main fish that I used. I ended up duplicating that and making a different blue variation later, but for now I just decided on red to start, and I felt like that was a good starting point. And then basically just took a cluster of those, parented all of it to an empty, and that's the easiest way for me to move things around. So I did that, and then I could take clusters of these and just duplicate them around pretty easily, and then just offset the timing like you can see here, moving the location keyframes up or down to shift where they start and end, moving the like bending fish swimming keyframes so that the animation timing is just slightly different, just so it doesn't look so duplicated. But so far there's only one fish model, just repeated with different animation timing. And then I just figured out some basic camera movement. I think the camera's just moving along and then looking up a little bit as it's rotating maybe. So I'm just figuring out kind of where it should be looking at the start and end, and then just picking a good spot for it. And then by this point, I didn't want to spend too much longer on the fish animation because I knew I could just kind of get carried away with that. So I went to scene building and I'm just dropping in some buildings I made in a different project, dropping in this, or modeling rather, this little glass, whatever this is here. So this one, I'm just modeling a basic little few panels and then just using an image of, I think like concrete, like dirty concrete, to drive the roughness. And then I'm just modeling some little, I don't know, frame on this thing, whatever this is. And then I just put like a little basic metal texture on there. And then I just put this like little emissive light thing on the top. I ended up moving that around, but that is in there. So yeah, I just wanted something to kind of shine through the dirty glass a little bit more. I ended up duplicating more of these fish too, just to get more stuff going on. And you can see it works really well with that glass next to it, just getting the reflections off of there. Here I'm just dropping in this pillar that I made in some other project. This is from one of my asset packs. And then I'm just repeating that a few times. And what am I even doing here actually? Oh, so then I was having some problems in Blender 5.0 that ended up crashing a few times. So I actually switched over to Blender 4.5, and that's what I finished this in because it kept on crashing for some reason. So yeah, I've been having some issues with 5.0 rather. So I'm in 4.5 from here on out from this project. And then here, it was more just about scene building than anything else. So you can see me just dropping in a bunch of assets. These are all stuff made in different projects or from, my paid asset packs or whatever. I guess I'll add a quick side note here too, that a lot of these assets are from the Cyber Environments course. So that's recently been updated, and I've added 5 new environments. So there's now 10 step-by-step environment guides total in there, plus 5 entire full asset packs of Cyberpunk and street models. So if you want to learn how to make renders like this and you want to do it step by step and you want to have everything that I know and use to make it as easy and fun as possible, now is a great time to start learning that and get access to the tools and information that I use when I'm making stuff like this. So I'll leave a link below to that if you want to check that out. There's so much more stuff in there that I can't fit in this section, but there's a link below if you want to go see everything in there. Dropping a little railing thing, array, dropping another metal thing, just layering stuff on top of each other and trying to get as much detail crammed into there as I can as quickly as possible. And that's where stuff like this is really handy. So I'm just dropping in pipes, duplicating that around, dropping in walkways and steel beams and stuff, more buildings, and then just kind of building off of that. One thing I did on this one was I selected all the vertical parts on this like exterior of the building, and then I just made those emissive and just used this like grid image that I actually just took a picture of my computer screen really up close, but you can use any kind of like grid image or wave texture or whatever you want to drive that. And then I'm just running that into the strength or alpha or whatever it's going on to here, and then I'm just animating that with a wave texture, again typing in hashtag frame so that it just goes in a like a linear line up and down. And then yeah, more buildings. This one I just duplicated all the windows, moved those into a new object, and then put a building window material on it, and that's what's shining through to the outside, making it look like there's a bunch of lit rooms on the inside. So that's my favorite technique for building window lights at night like that. And then a lot more lighting, not that much more, just a few more lights with like some cooler ones up top, some warm ones on the bottom. And then by this point it was going pretty smooth, so I could just really just focus on adding little details here and there. There's not too much thinking going on at this point. It was just more finishing the task. Here I did decide to move one of these clusters of fish up and make those more blue. So it's kind of interesting. I felt like it was cool to transition from like down low red and then tilting the camera up to like a bunch of blue stuff going on up there. And then I just did a quick test render just to see what it actually looked like at this point. You can see I actually really like those reflections from the glass panes, so I was really happy about that. I also did drop in some neon signs back there as well. And then I made that emission thing kind of this turquoise thing, so there's some opposing colors going on down there. And then another test render. This time I actually got the top ones in, just let it run for a little longer. And I was very happy with it at this point. I actually pleasantly surprised at how this was turning out. So then from here I took a little break and then spent a bit more time detailing some of the stuff in the back that was a little empty. So dropping in more pipe and ventilation assets and just kind of trying to fill it up with stuff going on back there. This kind of stuff is far out in the background. It doesn't need to look perfect, but you can really easily add a lot of detail if you have previous models you made or if you have downloaded asset packs. That's really helpful for that there. So I'm just adding a bunch of industrial stuff. Nothing too crazy, nothing to draw too much attention, just kind of minimal, dark, but detailed shapes to fill out background information. And then I went and tweaked some of the fish animation a little more to hopefully try and get some of them to be a little more natural looking. Threw on a particle system, so they're all like emitting little bits. Funny thing here is I made all the particles little letters from that code and just made the letters F-I-S-H, so that's what's coming out of the fish. Just a little detail in there. It's kind of funny. And you can see that there. So I did one red one, one blue one, respectively for each color of the fish. I tried Ian Hubert's trick of just adding a 2-bone armature to this guy here and then just making his head wobble a little bit as these went by. Okay, let's take a look at the render settings here. I did this one at just 1080p vertical at 24 frames per second. You might have noticed though that in the final animation it looked more like 60 FPS. What I did was I did a 4K 60 FPS conversion in Topaz Video AI. So it's an AI software that will just upscale magically your footage from whatever to 4K 60 FPS if you want. I ran it through that and that was actually not bad at all. Sometimes it's a bit sketchy using that, but I actually like how it looks sometimes. If we look at the samples, I did 650 samples, which is higher than I would normally go, but I was rendering this one overnight, so I was okay to just bump up the quality. I just did the math quickly to see how long I'd be sleeping for and just bump up the samples so that it would be done by the time I woke up, and that was around 650. You could probably do around 300, maybe 250 at the lowest and get a pretty similar result. A couple things I'd recommend to reduce the flickering that you might get with low samples. One is double check areas with a really intense roughness map. So like wet floors, metal textures, that kind of thing. If you make those surfaces a little less reflective, sometimes that can really help with reducing the flickering. Another thing, random tip, is set the glare node quality to high, which I did not do here, but sometimes can add flickering if it's not on high. If it's on medium, sometimes that will add like weird random flickering. And number 3 is if you do have Topaz Video AI or DaVinci Resolve full, you can do that 4K AI upscaling in those. If you don't have that, you can use what's called temporal denoising or temporal filtering. After Effects and DaVinci both have a way to do temporal filtering in those softwares, and that can really help kind of smooth the transition between frames. It does look a little motion blurry sometimes, but if you do it right, it can just really remove the flickering overall without destroying the footage too much. And then the last tip is add film grain over top of your footage in post, and that will help mask some of the bad flickering with just nice, good film grain over top of that. And then finally, once you actually post it online, the shitty compression that you get from like Instagram or wherever you're posting it will probably hide the last amount of like glitchy artifact flickering that you get from Blender denoising. And if all else fails, just try and bump up the samples if you can. So if you do all that, that's how I render as clean of animations that I can get without just like rendering for 24 hours straight. If you're on a lower end graphics card, this is going to be harder. And you could totally do a scene like this in Eevee as well. I haven't used it much, but the new Eevee I think is a lot better than it was before. And I think you could probably get a pretty similar look, especially in a scene like this, in Eevee than you can in Cycles as well. And that was the final result right here. So I did a few other details off camera, but nothing too crazy, just some advertisements and other little changes, but that was it for the most part.